Good evening, Hub Nation. Welcome to another episode of the 5 Elements of Success Player Development Series. My name is Tyler Campbell. I'm the Director of Performance here at GPC. I'm joined by Dennis Hillman, our Director of Coaching. Roger is on his way back from sunny Florida right now, but the show must go on. So here we are doing the best we can to fill in for him tonight. As always, we want to make this show as interactive as possible. So please place your comments and questions into the YouTube chat. We'll be happy to answer those at the end of the show. We've got a pop quiz question for you tonight. How many athletic scholarships are available at the men's Division III or in a men's Division III golf program? How many athletic scholarships are available in a men's Division III golf program? This might go for women's programs as well. All right, so get those answers into the YouTube chat. Let us know what you think. We've got a prize given away. We've got a dozen Pro V1s, brand new Pro V1s just released. So excited to give those out to everybody.
There you go.
We got a great show for you tonight. We'll get to that in just a second. I got Dennis here going to give us an update on what we got to last week.
Yeah, last week we talked about 5 things every aspiring college golfer needs to know. What's new in college golf, tournament scheduling, making sure your schedule is all set for the season coming up, SMART goals, the importance of the PDI self-assessment, and we also talked about your elevator pitch. So, if you ran into a college coach from a program you're interested in on an elevator, what would you say? Would you say anything? Something to think about. Have something prepared to just connect to that coach if you have that opportunity.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Well, I would also like to welcome 2 guests of ours from the Junior Golf Hub this week. We got Rick Dowling and Ted Swartwood on the show, going to talk to us about demystifying the college golf scholarship. So this week's episode is going to be all about college golf scholarships and demystifying what all that goes into that.
Yeah, there's a lot of it.
There's a lot of information out there. We'd also we're very excited. We've got the 2020 Hub Cup winners this evening. We're going to announce 10 scholarship winners of the Hub Cup. Going to the top 5 and the top 5 boys and top 5 girls, lowest scoring averages on the Junior Golf Hub in 2020. So Rick will be elaborating on that here in just a bit. So hang tight. So before we get in too deep into the nitty gritty of scholarships, I'm surrounded by 3 guys here who all played college golf. I'm not necessarily one, being on the physical side, but let's dive into a little bit. Dennis, talk to me about your experience in the recruiting process, but also what the scholarship side is like.
Yeah, so it's going back a few years, but as you mentioned earlier, but so for me, I'll just pick up on what Rick said. Last week. Really, the most important thing is this is about your journey and what motivates you. It's not just a means to an end. So for me, that was my experience as a junior golfer. Was I wanted to play the PGA Tour, and college golf was one step on that journey. So I was really focused on that. I didn't necessarily stress about getting a college golf scholarship so much, but ultimately I had a good summer, the summer before my senior year of high school, and had some opportunities, and ultimately played college golf at the University of Tulsa. Didn't have a full scholarship, but it was something that worked out for me and my family, and it worked out great.
You were heading out to Tulsa thinking it'd be nice and warm out there, didn't you?
I thought it'd be a little bit warmer than it was. We did get some snow, and the wind made it, I think, colder than Connecticut. So
yeah, I'm about right now. It's pretty chilly out there. Rick, how about you? What was your scholarship situation like, your recruiting process?
Yeah, I was a little bit late to the competitive golf world. So I played other sports in high school, and before that, I picked up golf in sophomore year of high school. But so I didn't have many opportunities. I reached out to a bunch of programs that I was interested in about their schools and being a member of their team, but they were full. So I went to a local D1 school here in Connecticut. They gave me a spot. The situation with the financials worked out. I got a nice merit scholarship academically. And then over time, that based on my performance on the golf team, I ended up getting a little bit of athletic help as well. That's kind of my scholarship story.
I love it. And just in general, Rick, I think what's really cool about your golf journey in general is that you were a little late to the game. You were still able to achieve some of those goals that so many of the viewers have. So that speaks to our long-term athletic development model a little bit here at GPC. So, and Ted, lastly, how about you?
So I went to a Division III school. I went to Skidmore College, and my age, everything was done on the telephone and all that kind of stuff. But bottom line was I was an okay student. I wasn't great, but I used golf to help me get into a school, that I probably wouldn't have been able to get into without it.
Okay.
So that was pretty cool for me, and I really enjoyed my experience. And we played very competitive. What was unique about back then was we played in some tournaments that were against Division I, Division II competition. So I played against Tim Petrovic and a couple of Andre brothers and stuff. So for me, it was really cool. I went to nationals every year. I was fortunate enough, worked hard enough, and made All-American. So my experience was great. I mean, I had chances to go to other schools where I probably would have been eating, sleeping, and drinking golf, and I wanted to have a different experience. So I was very happy with my choice. I'm still in touch with many of my teammates. A lot of our teammates are in the golf business. So it was great. So the Division III level, there was no scholarship talk.
I was just going to say,
Yeah.
Division III, did they offer scholarships?
Yeah, no, there were no Division III scholarships.
Oh, don't
then.
give the answer away.
Oh, I didn't mean to. And unfortunately, I didn't have the grades to get merit scholarships. But a lot of times, if you're interested in a Division III program and you have good grades, that's a nice little thing to talk about with the coach there. So, be aware of that. Academics, are very, very important no matter what level you're talking about, 1, 2, or 3. I mean, it can help differentiate you from the next guy. So, but again, my expectations were managed by attending a Division III school, and I still played I had a great coach, Dr. Tim Brown, and he played a very aggressive schedule. Wasn't afraid to make us play against some of the big boys. So, those are conversations you can have with the coach. So, look at their schedule, look who they play against. You might see that you're playing against.
Don't be fooled by the name on the box necessarily.
Yeah, 100%.
Saying you were D3, but you played against schools from other divisions.
Yes, correct. Yeah. So, if you have a coach or, who's willing to make those scheduling changes, or not even changes, but maybe it's already on their schedule, keep an eye on that, because bottom line is if, you're competing against the same competition, you want to play. You don't want to be that kid who doesn't make the travel squad. You might be on a top program or, middle of the road program. Make sure you get a chance to play, or make sure you're offered an opportunity to compete to play. Scholarship or no scholarship, bottom line.
That's great. I like it. Well, we know there's a lot to dive into with regards to college golf scholarships in today's world. So, Rick, kick us off. What do we need to know with regards to some specifics on the college golf scholarship side?
Yeah, sure. There's a lot of, scholarships get a lot of attention. Funding the journey. I have a lot of the viewers out there, you're either a junior golfer who wants to be a student athlete at the next level, continue with golf, further your education, or if you're a parent watching, you have an aspiring junior golfer who's your child. And there's a lot of pressure around how do I, get myself or my child into a good situation, set up for their future. And funding that journey is a big part of the questions that you guys have. So we're going to talk tonight about all these different types of scholarships and how you should kind of generally approach that part of the journey. So we'll start at a high level with the types of scholarships. So there's merit or academic scholarships, there's need-based or financial-based scholarships, there's outside or third-party scholarships, and there's athletic scholarships. Number one, academic, which Ted and I were kind of talking about, really started our journeys. Those are really based on your application to the school, your extracurriculars, your grades, any kind of student councils you're on, or scholarship organizations that are really recognizing you as an outstanding student. Need-based or financial are really about the FAFSA and the CSS profiles that your family submits to the school to give you an idea of how much you'll receive in general, just to take that extra step and continue education. Outside or third party, that's going to be something like Hub Cup that we're announcing tonight, something at your state or local level that you can apply for, or maybe you work for an golf business in the industry, and there's like the Evans Scholarship for caddies and those kind of things. But the biggest one that gets the most attention is probably athletic, which we're going to dive into a little further here. There's a lot of confusion and hearsay about how athletic scholarships work and ultimately how you actually obtain them from schools.
But now, one question I had for you before we go into the athletic in particular: can you combine any two of these types of scholarships? Can I just load up and say I get as many outside or third-party scholarships as possible, or combining a merit with an athletic, or how does that work?
That's a great question. Usually it varies by the institution. So if you're narrowing down your list and you want to become more familiar with how that process works, you should probably ask that kind of question early on in the process with the admissions people and the coach. Most schools do allow stacking. They call it stacking, where you can take academic money and combine it with athletic money. I think one of the students here, I think a few years ago, actually ended up with a full ride because they combined a half academic and a half athletic scholarship. But it's not guaranteed at every kind of program.
So ask specifically to any of the coaches that you guys are in contact with, what their situation is.
Yeah, normally schools do allow it because coaches, Teddy, I'm sure you've heard it from them, it helps them out if they can do both. Like obviously, student comes first. So the nature of college is you want to further this man's or woman's education.
Yeah, 100%. And what I'll say too is, some coaches, depending on the institution or who the president of the school is, they have different incentives. They want to lead their conference in GPA. They want to have a good reputation that way. It just varies from, institution to institution. So ask the coach and pay attention to that. Like we have on the Junior Golf Hub, you can see what the team GPA is. You can see where you fit. I mean, it's pretty easy stuff. So, pay attention to that because it's important. And if you can make yourself stand out a little bit. If you're player A and player B, and player B has got a higher GPA, well, player B is going to have a better chance than player A. That's all there is to it.
Well, we know obviously college golf is what we want to play. With these athletic scholarships on the line, what else do we need to know specifically about the athletic side of this?
Right. So the athletic side, there's a couple of cool graphics we're gonna show here. Their concept of maximums. So there's by every level. Ted, maybe you want to talk through the different types of associations on the college side quickly?
Yeah, like associations by
D1, D2.
Oh yeah, so there's all different types of institutions. There's Division I, which is the programs that you probably see on TV a lot, whether it's football, soccer, and what have you. Division II, which also has access to scholarships. For instance, Division I is 4.5 scholarships per program. Division II is 3.6, and Division III they don't have any. But then you have NAIA, which has certain rules and regulations about scholarships. You have junior colleges, which often have very flexible things to offer. And what a lot of kids do at junior colleges, they're going to go there for a year or two, hone their game. Maybe some of those junior college coaches have relationships with bigger programs, and it's a little bit of a incubator for that next step. So that's becoming more and more common. I mean, bottom line is, very few golfers, understand how difficult it is to play golf in college. There's roughly, according to what I've got here from the NCAA, there's about 8,500, male participants in college golf and 5,500 or so female. That might be a little low. These numbers are a couple of years old. But, just doing the quick math in your head, it's competitive. So you might need to, double check and see. Maybe I'll take a junior college year or something like that.
Now, you mentioned the 4.5 scholarships per program, and I think that's just for the men, right? The women have more.
I think the women have more. I think it's changed recently because more programs are coming into the fold. I think it's 5.5 or 5 point something.
Yeah, because you do hear that a lot. That there's a lot of scholarships on the women's side that go unused. Is that true? Because you hear that a lot.
I hear it a lot. It's not really true. What people see is they see people not from our country taking those spots. But bottom line is. People from other countries around the world want to come to the United States. They want to come to our colleges. They want to play on our tours. So it's a big draw. It's really for the female golfers, the juniors and stuff. It's doing your homework and paying attention to that school. Take a look at the roster, see where everybody's from. It's not that hard. There are companies in Europe and in Asia that specifically exist to find spots at college programs in the United States. So it's not that they're going unused. They're just used by people who aren't necessarily from this country.
That's great.
Right. The graphics on the screen right now will really give you an idea of the numbers. Currently, they might have proposals to lower given the number of programs growing on the female side. But everyone kind of, if you're in the space of junior golf and you're looking to play college golf, you've probably seen these numbers before. Like, oh, these are the numbers, and you're competing for that many. But what people don't really realize is that those are maximum numbers. The school I went to had a fraction of those numbers. So not every program is fully funded and has the maximum number of scholarships available. So that leads us to the second thing, where you see coaches using their allotted number of scholarships, they're chopping the pie up and distributing it to their whole team. Or they're giving someone 2 pieces of pie and another person 1. Because if you have 10 people on your team and you have 3 scholarships, you have to figure out a way to distribute based on performance or how old someone is and experienced they are.
So it's not as simple as I have a scholarship, and that's going to one person, and a scholarship is going to, essentially these coaches have a sum of money that they're distributing among the number of people on the team if they are so deserving.
Exactly. Ted talked about how elite it is to make it from high school golf to college golf. You're competing against a lot of people and there's a limited number of spots. If you want to take it to that next level, if you're one of those, 8,000 kids or 13,000 total kids getting a full ride, that's like crazy rare.
Yeah.
Because, you get instances like, I think a few years ago, USC women's golf, they're most likely a fully funded program, very highly competitive in the Pac-12. They had 6 girls on their team. So most likely every single one of them was on a full ride. Yeah. But that's a very rare situation. So those 3 things kind of work together. You'll see those are maximums, and because of that, you see coaches treating them with an equivalency program, and then that means that full rides are very rare.
Well, what an opportunity at junior college is with 8 scholarships. I mean, potentially, would you say there are a fair amount of junior colleges that are fully funded with that many scholarships?
Yeah, junior colleges are super competitive. A lot of them in Texas and the lower states.
Sure.
But yeah, it's a great option, like Ted said. I think people should really consider.
And it was interesting. Well, we had a conversation back when COVID first hit, and there was that one university, JUCO, out in
Seminole State,
and they were competing in matches because you were able to do individual matches against some big programs, and the coach was very proud about some of the victories he had. We're not going to shame anybody here, but and it was great. And then when I was out in Arizona a few weeks back, I had a conversation with some athletes out there and a couple of the PGA professionals that were there, and they were saying about their experience, and they talked specifically about junior college and how that's where they went, and then they went to someplace else. Oklahoma City, we have a good relationship with that guy. Great resource, right? And again, the Texas colleges and stuff have produced a lot of people that went on to programs through that, kind of through that pathway. And it's not that unique. It sounds like it, but here in the Northeast, where we are, we don't think that way. But if you have the patience and this is your goal and this is part of your plan, then that's great. Mom and dad are on board. Great. Just got to make sure you have a conversation.
Now, as I guess I've got a few questions and maybe directions that we can go with the conversation. For starters, I know we've talked about it in past episodes, but at what point should I seriously be considering the magnitude of a scholarship, right? Should I sophomore, junior year, 8th grade, 9th grade? When should scholarships be on my radar and I should be, either actively pursuing scholarships that might not be athletic or, really trying to play my best to set myself up for an athletic scholarship? And I guess what else would I want to be considering in the financial side of things as a family?
The good news is the 4 types of scholarships, maybe we can go back in the presentation here for everybody. You can actually control and learn a lot about what you can expect with all 4 of these. They're not out of your control.
Okay.
On the merit or academic side, you can actually get a pre-read of how you might fit into the institution's grant aid that they give out to the average student athlete. That's publicized, and it's on the Junior Golf Hub profiles in the program database that we have on the college side. The need-based or financial, you can submit the FAFSA and CSS to figure out what you'll get as a family. And outside and third party, that's just, Junior Golf Hub has some resources for everybody out there. If you want to tap into the local level resources for scholarships, you can find out, there's a lot of $1,000, $500 scholarships, and every bit counts. I actually got a very nice scholarship from the CSGA when I was a senior, and that really helped me a lot every year in college. Things like books and meals and all of that. Having that in your account is huge. Every little bit counts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, caddy scholarships are big. I know New Jersey. I come up from New Jersey, and if you caddy at a country club down there or a golf course or anything like that, or you are qualified to you have to apply. But the bottom line is you have to have a certain GPA in order to be eligible for it. So, those are great programs, and I'm fairly certain that they exist across the whole country. You mentioned the Evans Scholarship.
Yeah.
And each state gets one, and so that's a full ride, I believe, or $17,500 or something like that. So it's a lot.
Yeah.
But Rick's right, every dollar does count. And that's why we're proud of the Hub Cup. We're one of the companies out there that are in this space that offer this out there, and we're very proud of that. We're happy with our relationship with the ERD Foundation for supporting it, and we're proud of these kids that they pay attention to it. They go on the Hub and they want to know where they stand. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, if you want to start planning early, you can consider all 4 of these being part of the equation that will ultimately add up to that final tuition number. The tuition numbers for each school are also published on the college database that we have, if you want to get an idea for your target programs where you're looking at as a family. And those if you want to allow space in the formula, starting freshman, sophomore year, if you're planning, or even earlier, you can try to get an idea for the first 3. The 4th one is a little trickier. What can I expect for an athletic scholarship? That really comes down to research as well. So in the college database, we have the 1st player and the 5th player for each program. And if you're a coach, if you step for the athletic scholarships estimation, step into a coach's shoes. And if you are at par with the 1st player on their team, you could probably expect a athletic scholarship. You could, when you go to that program, if you were to go to a program, you could replace the 1st player. You're probably going to be a scholarship athlete. If you're going to replace the 5th player, now you're probably looking at a partial area, of half or a quarter, depending on the funding status of the program. If you can get on the team, maybe not on the traveling roster, being realistic to where you are scoring-wise to where their people are scoring-wise, then you probably have a ways to go to consider yourself a scholarship athlete.
Just an important reminder is with strokes, you've got to look at it. Junior golf to college golf is a couple strokes higher, so you have to allow for that adjustment when you're looking at the top player.
Yeah,
exactly.
1st or 5th player. Yeah,
exactly.
That's a really good point, actually, because it's like anything else. Every time you step up a level, whether any sport, basketball, they're that much faster. Their first step is that much quicker. In golf, they're that much better, and they're that much more consistent. So when you're using the search tool on the Hub, just keep that in mind. Like you plug in your current scoring average, verified tournament results. That's great, but understand that it might take a little more between now and that time you're ready to make a decision. And that coach is going to be paying attention.
Right.
So,
right.
Excellent. All right.
Yeah.
Did we hit on this? Financials and scholarships.
Yeah, this one's more of a parting shot. So we talked about funding the journey is obviously an important part of this. You can't go to the school unless you can pay for it. And some people, the money's not there, but it really shouldn't be the guiding factor. Obviously, there's some situations that might warrant, I need to get as much help as I can, but it should not be the reason why you pick a school. I'm just going to go wherever I get the most money. You're going to end up being unhappy. The other things that should guide the decision, scholarships are going to be a part of the equation, of course, but you got to love the coach. You have to love the culture. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Is this program, is this school going to set you on that path to get to where you want to be 5 years from now? Those are the kind of things that you should focus your decision on. This obviously is going to be kind of underlaid throughout the high school years, but the things you should hone in on are not the money, so to speak.
Yeah, and actually, that's another really good point. I think we're full. Lots of really good points here every episode. That's what I know. But like this, I was looking through some stats earlier this week, talking about your goals, because your goals, to get to college are one thing, but some people have goals beyond college, right? PGA Tour, like you had, but just to give you some statistics there. So let's assume there's 29 million golfers out there, that's according to the New Jersey, to the National Golf Foundation, right? Your chances of the probability of playing on the LPGA or PGA Tour are 1 out of 16,486 golfers. If you want to play on like the mini tours, the Symetra Tour, the Korn Ferry Tour, it's 1 in 6,100 golfers, just to play maybe one tournament, that kind of thing. But if you want to work in some capacity as a professional in the golf industry, it's 1 out of 226. So it's funny, when I played in college, I thought I was a little bit of a hot shot. I made All-American. We played a nationals all 4 years. I went down to Florida. I played on the Space Coast Tour. I played on the Satellite Tour down there. And I realized pretty quickly I didn't want to do it. But I ended up
Wake up call.
I ended up turning around, years later and coming into the golf business. So a lot of my friends on the team I mentioned earlier, they went different routes. Some guys played, for a little while, a little longer than I did. I just didn't have it in me. But a lot of guys ended up working at a club as a teaching manager. Some are GMs at the clubs. Some took a whole new route, clear across the world over to Russia to help build golf courses. So, if you know what you want to do, if you know you want to be in golf, you can go there. But you understand it's not easy. It's a process. It's a job. We talked about that a little bit last week. That the whole recruiting thing, that's a job. It's a full-time job to be recruited and for coaches to recruit. So everybody should keep that in mind.
I think you have to remember it. I mean, it is, from the academic side. I mean, it's if you're not going to play professional golf, as Ted said, probably most people aren't. I mean, it's an investment for your future, and I think it's a time investment, it's a financial investment. So I think it has to be looked at that way.
Yeah, you must have done your self-assessment in high school, Dennis, because you knew exactly what you wanted. No, it's true. Like if you don't know what you want, you haven't answered the tough questions.
Yeah.
Then you're not gonna have any direction of where you want to go.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, another interesting comment that came out of Arizona was we watched a few kids play a few holes, and I was struck by an individual out there, tall kid, bombed it, hit it great, was in contention, to take home the trophy. And when he finished, Danny Dowling, one of our associates, and I were talking to him, and we're like, "Oh, so where are you going to college?" And he gave us the name, and I said, "Oh, that's great." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm not even going to play golf." I mean, here you have a guy playing at an elite tournament. He goes, "Nah." He goes, "I have the rest of my life to play golf." So there's a junior who understands that golf is a game you can play for a lifetime, and you can use it for what you want. I know when I left the mini tour thing, I went into business on Wall Street, and I got invited to lots of golf outings because I was a halfway decent golfer. So I got to play a lot of nice golf courses. I met a lot of nice people out there. So it's not just the professional route.
To an end, as we
Right? Yeah. I mean, you're hooked on golf now, Tyler. I mean,
I've been hooked on golf.
Yeah.
I just did,
but I mean, you weren't when you were in high school.
Yeah, no, I wasn't a competitive player. I was competitive in many other sports at a high level, but the sport at a high level. But yeah, so coming into this world and learning myself about the journey that a lot of these junior golfers have is it's eye-opening. But it is interesting how from one sport to another, the perspective definitely changes, even from team sports to individual sports. So it's definitely been fun learning about the process. I think that we've got some fun announcements to make, some exciting announcements to make.
Maybe before we get to the Hub Cup, we're really excited to have some winners on. They'll be joining us. But the last thing, Ted, we were talking earlier about coaches and what they expect. Like, what is their side of this conversation? We talked about these 4 different types of scholarships and the formula and the process. You can really control and do research to find out where you might fit in and know what you need. And if you can actually approach a coach, you've identified 15 target programs and you've done your homework in this topic, the coach is going to be very impressed, and it's actually going to speed up that process with the coach. I'm sure you've heard that from them. The family that's ready to talk, they've got everything figured out. They've done these research steps. They're going to stick out.
Oh yeah, 100%. And coaches say that all the time. They're like, the more prepared a prospective student athlete comes to him, it's an immediate check, right? I mean, coaches are checking boxes pretty much every time they reach out to you or see you or whatever. So the more prepared you are, the more homework you do, whether it's on scholarships or what their schedule they play or what their team makeup is, the more you know going into something, the coach puts you at a higher level. I mean, it's really not any different than life. We talk about around this place a lot about not just on the golf course, but in life, right? So kind of what you do with your golf journey here can translate to later on in life.
Yep.
And you have to be prepared for meetings. You have to be prepared for that phone call. Or you might bump into a guy who you're dying to meet at the bagel store or whatever, right? And you want to be able to say something, that catches him. So you're 100% correct. And coaches, everybody seems a little intimidated by coaches. They're coaches. And by the way, they might want you as much as you want them. You just don't know it, and you have to have that conversation. And some of the conversations you might think are tough. They're really not. Ask those questions, because the guy who's coming behind you or maybe who was in front of you, maybe they didn't ask those questions. Mm-hmm. So ask them and have that conversation because it might separate you.
Certainly speaks to what you might be bringing to their team, right?
100%. 100%.
And so if you're a family watching right now and everyone's has a junior golfer that's different and their goals are different, you're looking for the answers for you. Everyone's answers are going to be different. Go into the premium feature set. If you're not a premium member, you can upgrade. And then there's an article in there, Funding Your Journey. We've used that phrase a few times. That's going to have all the different links we talked about, the links to the FAFSA website, the links to the, getting your estimate for the financial aid, going to each actually academic institution's website, going to their admissions department, learning about the first and fifth player, all those different things. You can actually come up with your own formula and get the answers that you'll have for your student athlete.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, so you guys are obviously showed that there is a lot of opportunity out there. There's different paths you can take to get to where you want to be, golf-wise, academically, but there's some work to be done. So that's great.
No doubt.
Great information.
All right. Looks like we have a special guest on.
Yeah.
Not yet?
Oh, we're going to announce the winners now.
All right. Rick, take it away.
This is the big.
All right.
All right. Here we have the 2020 Hub Cup Boys winners. Number one, with a scoring average of 69.4. Very impressive.
Wow.
That's pretty sharp.
Well, we do the thing we were talking about earlier, 69.4, add 2, 71.4. That sounds like he's going to be he could fit in as a first player in a lot of different schools.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
no question.
Rylan Johnson from Arizona. Congratulations, Rylan. What a fantastic 2020 you had. Hopefully you can join us in a few minutes. We're expecting Rylan to join us, give us some feedback about his awesome season.
Yeah, I think he's working on his academics. He's in school. He's in Arizona. So
Yeah,
a couple
hours behind, yeah. Number two, second place, Sean Miner. Congratulations, Sean. Sean's actually a current student athlete at the University of Nevada. I had the privilege of speaking with him. He was very fantastically respectful gentleman, and he was sharing some insight as to the Nevada Wolfpack getting ready for this season, dealing with some injuries, dealing with COVID, but they're excited and hopefully getting to conference championship season. Our third boy Hub Cup winner, Ryan Bodkowski, also from Arizona. The water must be different out here.
Yeah, I don't know. Definitely warmer.
Yeah, competing with Rylan out on the West Coast. Congratulations, Ryan. Number four, Jake Griffin. Congratulations, Jake. And our last but not least, Lorenzo Sands, our fifth place Hub Cup boy for 2020. Congratulations to all.
Great job.
Yeah,
Really well done.
guys.
Well
Great
played.
job, guys.
On the girls' side, Isabella McCauley, a second place finish at this year's Nota Begay National Championship. Was it second place? It was top 5 for sure.
Yeah, it might have
She
been-
was up there with Yana.
Yeah.
Yana is our second place winner. She was the champion of the inaugural Nota Begay, the third national championship out in Louisiana. Did you meet her while you were out there, Ted?
I did not meet her. I did not, but I think Roger met her and spoke to her because he was there a little bit longer than I was. So
Yeah, she's very young. I think she's class of 2024. She's got a long history of, I think she competed in the drop, chip, and putt. She bombs it.
Yeah,
I'm sure she's getting a lot of college looks ready. Number 3, Lee Chen from California. She's the only repeat Hub Cup winner.
Oh,
She actually was a 2019 Hub Cup winner. So continued success for Lee, also very young. I think a class of 2023 or 24.
Nice job, Lee.
So really impressive there. Our fourth place, we actually are joined by our fourth place winner, Nicole Felci. Hey, Nicole, can you hear me?
Hi, yeah, I can hear you.
Hey, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for
How you
having
doing?
me.
Yep,
I'm great.
anytime.
How are you?
Good. Thanks for. Oh, there's Rylan.
Oh, he's
Oh,
muted.
Rylan's on mute.
The classic mute.
we need to
Happens to the best of us.
Flip readers.
Oh boy.
No worries.
All right. Well, we're waiting for Rylan to get back online here. Nicole, we were just about to announce your name. Congratulations. You're the fourth place Hub Cup winner for 2020.
Yeah, thank you. It's really, really
Awesome.
cool. It's a great honor.
Awesome. Love it. Can you tell us a little about your season last year and all the maybe some impressive finishes and maybe what you're working on now?
Yeah, well, I had a lot planned like in the beginning of the year, and then COVID hit, which kind of hurt my schedule. But I played in the Nota Begay National Championship qualifier in Ohio, and that was one of the best 2 days of golf in my life. It was really fun, a great experience. And then I
You
played in
able to
the
hear me?
national championship, which was awesome. It was such a fun time. I enjoyed it tremendously. It was really fun, and ended up the season with a couple wins, which was great, and some junior tournaments. And now I'm playing this weekend actually, where I live down here. This weekend, I'm really excited for it.
Awesome.
That's great. Do you feel that
Yeah,
your
thanks.
experience at the Nota Begay regional kind of propelled you a little bit to some of those victories toward the end of the year, or
Yeah, it was awesome because the course really prepared me for faster greens and trickier greens. So it was a great experience and it was so fun. I never experienced anything like it, and it was a great thing.
That's awesome.
That's great.
I love it.
Well, congratulations again, and I really appreciate
Thank
you
you.
jumping on the show to accept your award. Best of luck the rest
Yeah,
of
it
the
was
season.
so awesome. I'm so glad I could. Thank you.
We'll
Thanks,
keep
guys,
an
for
eye
having
out
me.
for you on the Hub Cup standings for 2021.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Nicole.
Congrats. Good luck.
Thank you.
We'll announce the fifth place girl winner after we get talking to Rylan here. Rylan, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Hey, Rylan. Nice hat.
How's it going?
Like the flat brim.
Thank you.
Are you out in the course? What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm out practicing with my coach
Always
a little
out
bit,
on the
but I
course.
appreciate you guys having
Rylan,
me.
I just told people you were in school working on your academics.
I rushed here right after school. I rushed here after school. It's actually about a 20-minute drive. I just got here a few minutes ago, but
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining us. You are the
I
first
appreciate it.
place Hub Cup champion for 2020. What does that mean to you? And maybe give us a little bit about your favorite moments from 2020.
Okay, yeah, no, it means a lot. I know I've heard of you guys quite a bit. You guys were actually at the last junior event I played at over at Wigwam, and solid start to the year for me there. But 2020 has brought obviously a weird year, no doubt, but it was a big stepping stone for me, and in terms of college recruiting and uh, picking the college I wanted to go to that verbally committed. As it's kind of what we all worked to our whole junior career, and so that's very exciting for me and my family. And no, yeah, I mean, 2020 it was awesome. I mean, all the junior tournaments throughout the summer, us being able to play with all the circumstances going on, that was great. And then capped it off by verbally committing in November. But yeah,
Congratulations. Yeah, you committed to Oregon State. Is that right?
yes, sir.
That's awesome. They got a
Go
fantastic
Beavers.
program there. Yeah, you got the
There you go.
polo on. Represent.
Yeah.
So now that
Yep.
you're committed and everything, have your plans changed? Do you have different goals for this season?
Yeah. So they've changed a little bit as I finished tied for second at an AJGA late last season. Bumped my Rolex a little bit. The goal is to start playing some invitationals at the end of this year and just work my way into a full invitational schedule as next year comes around, as the end of this year goes away and next year rolls around. But yeah, it's pretty much the goal. I played in I actually just got done playing in the Monday qualifier for the Phoenix Open. That was a cool experience. Something that I don't do often. I mean, I was the youngest player in the field, and that was a fun time for sure.
That's cool.
How'd you do on 16?
No, I played at the qualifiers at McCormick Ranch,
Oh,
the Monday qualifier. Yeah.
Great year. Congratulations. Maybe just one or two keys to your success last year. Maybe a nugget for the audience out there. Anything that really made a difference for you?
I started working with a new coach come March of last year. As I got back into playing some tournaments, I took a little time off. I think that was actually pretty big in terms of my ranking and growing my game. Took seven, almost 8 months off of tournament golf. Came back strong in June of this year and finished tied for first with a good buddy of mine, Anowin, at the JGA event. But yeah, I'd say starting with a new coach, and that's really it. We've grown from there, and it's exciting to see the success of 2020.
How much time off was that?
It was 7 to 8 months off of tournament golf. I played in one amateur event. Played high school baseball with varsity last year, and then we only got 3-4 games in. But so yeah,
Okay, awesome. Thanks.
Very cool.
Well, we can't wait to see what the future holds for you. Thank you for coming on the show to accept the award for first place for 2020, and maybe you'll repeat in 2021.
I appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Thanks, Rylan.
Thanks, Rylan. Good luck, man.
Good luck.
Go get some practice in.
Pump some iron.
Yeah, exactly. I know he will be at Oregon State if he's not already.
Let me go back to we're going to announce the last fifth girl winner. Want to give her some credit. Right, Megan Royal. I almost forgot. So Megan was going to join us tonight as well, but great season, Megan. Very consistent on the hub for the last 3 years. She's been a premium member, and she's moving on to college golf very soon as well. So congratulations, Megan. Great season.
Great.
And that rounds out the boys and girls winners. So Ted, do you want to talk about the 2021 criteria? I know you had a big deal to do with that.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I've been with the hub for a little over a year now, and when I came here and I learned about the Hub Cup, I'm like, that is like awesome.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, well, we don't really talk about it. I'm like, well, we need to talk about it because it's an important thing. We really want our membership to know that we support you in lots of different ways. You're our customer success manager. I know you talk to a lot of people on the phone every day, respond to hundreds of emails every week. So I thought it was important and that we champion it. It's a nice thing. I know that I received some small community scholarships, and it meant a lot to me. And I wrote thank you letters and thank you notes and stuff. But I thought it'd be kind of cool to up the criteria a little bit to kind of more encompass what our philosophies are. So the first one there is the ages 14 to 18. Some people say, well, what if I'm a freshman? We'll hold the money until you're ready to go.
Yep.
That's fine. You got to compete in a minimum of 5 verified 18-hole rounds, tournaments or whatever. You got to compete in 1 verified 2-round or 36-hole event, and you need to opt in. If you're not a premium member, you need to opt in to be searchable, correct? Right. So you don't have to be premium. You just have to opt in so that coaches can search you. And obviously, being a member of Junior Golf Hub is that's probably the easier way to do that.
Yeah.
That's something new this year that we want to do because I think was my idea, so I gotta like it. But you have to write every student has to write an essay for college if they're applying. So we're asking people to write a short essay about an important golf experience or why golf is special to them. No minimum count, nothing like that. And it's not graded. It's just that we want you to think about something and submit it to us. And if we like some of them, we'd like to share them with some more people. Mm-hmm. And also very important, and you mentioned it earlier, but you have to complete the PDI self-assessment. And why that's important is that supports our 5 elements as well. It gets you to think about golf in a different way. It's the first step in what we think is a process for developing your game to play it at the next level.
Awesome.
So.
Right. So yeah, really excited to announce the new updated criteria. Basically, any hub member who's high school aged and plays tournament golf, you can get in the race for the Hub Cup for 2021. Really exciting. It's not many. There's not a system out there that awards something for the best scoring average for junior golfers. Anybody from Sweden, Australia, the United States can be entered into this. So we're trying to give you guys an opportunity for competition.
I love it.
Right. Yeah, and actually on the Hub Cup, you can now check out and see what your buddies are doing, right?
Yes.
You can. Actually, that was just released today, wasn't it?
Yep.
So really cool. Rylan was just saying that he mentioned his buddy there, and I do remember seeing Rylan when I was out there, and it's funny they come off and they are very curious as to what's going on with their friends. Back in the day we had to go find a leaderboard, right? So now they can look at their phones and they can check it out.
Right.
So the thing with Hub Cup is you can go in, you can punch in your friend's name, you can see where they are, and maybe get some bragging rights, or maybe motivate you to play a little harder in the next the next round.
Yeah, or even see what the winners from 2020 or the top 5 right now, what they're doing, what they're playing in, what they're shooting. See what you're up against.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was an awesome, I guess, conversation about scholarships. Really enjoyed that. I learned a ton. I guess for starters, do we have any questions? Do we have any questions to wrap up the show?
We have a couple questions. First one, are hub members outside of USA eligible for Hub Cup?
Yes.
100% yes.
The hub is blind to where you're coming from. The hub is a community for all golfers. So the Hub Cup standings is eligible. So long as you're on the hub and you're a member, you're playing tournament golf, you're eligible for the Hub Cup.
And you meet their criteria.
Second question, if I go to a Division III school and want to transfer, can I still earn scholarship, or is this saved for only the recent high school athletes?
I'm not sure I understand that question. Can you say it again?
If I go to a Division III school and want to transfer, can I still earn scholarship, or is this saved for only the recent high school athletes?
If you transfer to a school that has scholarships, you can certainly accept scholarship.
Yeah.
There's no athletic scholarship, which is the answer to the trivia question at the D3 level. But if you're transferring to a school that's not D3, you're certainly eligible.
Yeah, and that's a good question, because I'm sure that people are like, well, I don't have one here. It's not, you're not trading scholarship for scholarship. You're actually, hopefully leveraging your talent into one.
Any other questions, Mike?
That's it for questions.
Great. So, pop quiz winner.
Our pop quiz winner this week is Kate Nyers.
All right.
So again, the question there was, can you receive a athletic scholarship to a Division III program? The answer is no.
No.
We're going to get you a dozen Pro Vs sent your way. So just communicate in the chat there. We'll get all your information.
On that note, though, don't discount Division III golf opportunities, because often the package you will receive from a merit perspective or just total, financial aid perspective could exceed something you'd receive at a D2 or D1, and it could be a better fit for you. So don't just discount those opportunities off the bat because there's no athletic money.
Yeah, and sometimes there are schools that have a good alumni group from the program that sometimes fund merit-based scholarships with their own criteria. So again, ask the question to the coach, because they might be out there.
All right. Well, I'd like to thank Rick and Ted for joining us from the Junior Golf Hub. As always, if you don't have the app downloaded, make sure you download the app. Get it on your phone. Get those college coaches in your pocket, as Roger likes to say.
Nailed it.
My best impression there.
Nailed it.
I think you did a great job.
So Roger, we miss you. Can't wait to have you back next week. But again, download the Junior Golf Hub app. We'd like to thank the sponsors, Ethan Allen Preparatory, achieving your greatness in the classroom, on the golf course, and in life.
Nailed it again.
All right, and we'll look forward to seeing everybody next week. As always, enjoy the journey and get after it.